The first place they go are friends and family, which I was a little surprised about because I thought that they would go to technology first. Friends and family provide that one-on-one interaction that they can get to quickly. Now, what we've recently found is the more depressed that they are, the more likely they are to use Facebook to make a post. I think that getting a message from Facebook as an initial statement, hey, you're feeling depressed, hey, there's someone concerned about you, there may be issues of privacy, and we just don't know yet in terms of how people are accepting that. One of the things that I'm recommending is that Facebook and their university partners, that they come up with a way to evaluate the acceptability. So do the people that are making the post or making the contact with Facebook, what do they think about that process? And then those who receive the intervention, the post of, hey, we think you might want to reach out to these resources, what do they think about it? Did they find that to be helpful? Did they find that to be an intrusion on their privacy? I think until we know those things, we aren't going to be able to truly determine the effectiveness of that process. One of the problems is, are resources, are interventions accessible to people? And are they accessible in a way that meets them where they are? Is it something that they're interested in? Or are there barriers that get in the way of them being able to actually connect with that and engage with that? So they do a very good job of trying to minimize that mental health stigma and normalize it for people and see you're not alone when you're going through this. There are other people that are experiencing this, and so let's connect you with them as well and help you to feel engaged and move forward. Reach Out has been very instrumental, and it's one of the most proactive interventions that I've seen, and one that I'm going to continue to work with to evaluate, because they are very committed to establishing an empirical base and moving the field forward. I would recommend that parents, when they're starting to feel concerned about their child, talk to the child's primary care provider and say, these are some of the signs and symptoms that I'm noticing. Help me understand, is some of this developmental, or is this something that I need to be concerned about? The primary care provider hopefully has enough expertise to be able to say, this is what is happening, and then they can make the appropriate referrals. What I would argue is that we don't have a knee-jerk reaction, that we look to see, okay, these are signs and symptoms, but this hasn't reached a threshold that needs immediate attention. So let's start with some online interventions. Let's see what happens over time with their mood, etc. If it reaches the next level, talk to the primary care physician, talk to the school counselors, say, what do I need to do? And then ask for referrals to different mental health providers. Do you use text messaging? Do you use instant messaging? And so it's saying to them, talk to me no matter how you need to get this information across. And then taking that information and giving it to a healthcare professional so that they can then help the parents and the adolescents through that process. I think it's important that interventions also take into consideration high-risk groups that may be more at risk for mental health issues. So for example, gay and lesbian, bisexual, transgender, or sexual minority youth. They need to have information that is specific to the issues that they are going through. We know that coming out happens relatively between 17 and 24 years. That's a difficult process because not only are they going through developmental phases that everyone goes through, they're also going through the process of coming out. Other high-risk groups, homeless youth, youth that are experiencing or engaging in high-risk sexual behaviors, youth that aren't accessing or don't have access to any services, in the rural areas. We need to provide them with information that specifically addresses the things that they're going through. And it needs to be information that has language, not from adults, but uses language and social media in ways to engage these youth and really help them know we're here for you. We want to connect with you, and let's help you get through tough times, or let's help you learn how to help friends get through tough times. In order to engage those adolescents, we have to find ways that meet their needs and make sense to them. And the information that they're provided needs to be developmentally appropriate, and it can't just be talking at them. It needs to be engaging. It needs to have social media components to where it makes sense to them where they are and helps them to reduce the mental health stigma and start to learn more about what's going on. Because I imagine many adolescents don't know the signs and symptoms of depression, but the more information that we can get to them through schools, through health professionals, through their parents, then I think the better equipped they would be to know maybe when they need to reach out for help.